You may or may not have heard of the Corsair LS100 lighting kit. If you've never heard about them and you want to learn more, stick around. So if you've never heard of these lights before, you might be asking, what exactly are they? So these are basically diffuse strip lights that are obviously supplied by Corsair or made by Corsair. And where would you use them? Well, you'd normally use them, or I should say, they're designed to go on the back of your monitor, but you could have them on the back of your desk, side of your desk, around your PC, inside your PC even if you really wanted to do that. But they have to be close to your PC to hook up to your PC to allow you to use iCUE, the iCUE software that you need to actually control these. Otherwise, you couldn't really do anything with them. Normally I would also do an unboxing video of things that I buy, but I actually got these, I think it was a couple of years ago now. Had them on my PC, the back of my monitor I should say, for a long time, and then we moved, took them off, and I've just never got around to putting them back on. But I'm going to put them back on now because they provide a lovely kind of lighting at the back, which a normal bog standard LED could do, LED strips, but what's different about these is these can also show off the lighting of whatever's on your screen, whether you're playing a game or watching a movie, and it gives that ambilight effect that you see on Philips TVs or with some of the Govee stuff, but without the camera. I mean, I know the Philips ambilight's actually built into the TV, but Govee's got this little camera that basically records what's on the screen, and it does the lighting of the screen on the back of the wall. But with these you don't need it, as it's all done through the PC. So what do you get in the box? Well, a starter kit comes with basically two of these, which are 450mm long strips, and then you get another two 250mm long strips, and obviously you can imagine the back of the monitor, the shape of the monitor, you would have them positioned around the back of the monitor in a kind of square shape. Depending on the monitor you have, you might have a really one of these big ultra wide monitors. You can get expansion kits of 250mm long ones, two 250mm long should say, or two 450mm long. I actually had to buy the expansion kit because I've got a 34-inch ultra wide monitor, but they don't quite fit as expected in it, and I'll show you. I'm going to actually get them all installed, and I'll show you on the back of the monitor how they look and why they don't quite fit the way that they should, but there's things you can do to make them look the part, but I'll get around that in a minute. So yeah, so in the starter kit you get two 450mm long diffused LED strips and two 250mm long diffused strips. On them you get these little clips. These are get metal inside them, or I'm trying to think if these are the magnets or the metallic side. I'm not quite sure if they're the metallic side or the magnetic side, sorry. But you get these little things that you clip on, and they're adjustable, and they'll basically tie up with the pads that you'll stick on the back of your monitor, and you'll see that when I come to do the installation. But there's a load of them that come in a box as well, and it's just a case of clipping them onto the actual strip itself, and they can slide up and down to suit the position of where you're going to put the actual magnetic pads. What else you get in the box? You get obviously the power cable here. It needs its own power supply, and the length of the cable for this power supply is 1.8 meters long. I'll just throw that to the back. What else do you get? We got a USB Type A cable to a mini USB connection at the end, and this is 1.5 meters long. This obviously needs to be hooked up to your PC to get the control from iCUE. Okay, and if you're wondering where these go, also in the box you get this little external lighting controller. So you can see, or hopefully you can see, in there you've got the connection for the power cable, and then you've also got the connection for the mini USB mini USB cable. It just plugs in like that, and that end goes to your PC. And then on the other side we actually have two lighting channels. So once you've got all the cables hooked up in a loop, one end would come back around and go into one of the lighting channels, and you've also got a spare lighting channel You can hook up other Corsair RGB devices. You've got some of these kind of standing lights that I've seen some people having that shine towards the back wall. There's also little Corsair panels, like kind of triangle hexagon panels, or a triangle? I think they're triangle panels that I've seen people kind of dotting around about their PC. This can be hooked up to this as well. There's probably other RGB stuff can be hooked up to that as well, but each of them can be individually controlled through iCUE. And later on, when I get all this installed, I'll run through that for you and show you some examples of what you can do with the lighting. What else do we get? Depending on how the strips go around the back of your monitor, you might have a bit of a gap in between them. So the strips would normally just connect with two little connectors that push together like so. But you might find yourself, it just pushes in like that on clips. You might find yourself having the strips far apart and you can't get these connections together. So in the box there's a load of these little extension cables as well to kind of get around that, just in case you're needing them. We also have magnets, right? It comes with loads of little magnets, and these have got 3M sticky tape on the back of them. You just stick them onto the back of your monitor, and then that's where you line up the little sliding bracket things I showed you, which clip onto the lights. So there's loads of them. I've actually still got all of them stuck on the back of the monitor just now, but I'll show you that when I come to the installation bit of it. And again, that's the little clips that clip onto the lights. And then finally, in the box we have a little bag of adhesive clips. So see those extension cables, for instance, rather than having them hanging about and dangling about all over the place, we get this and we can clip those cables in out of the way and keep it back in the monitor all tidy. So that's the contents of the box, and again, apologies, I usually like to have the box show you me unopening it and then going through the contents as if I've done it from scratch, but I've binned the box, so tough. So what I'll do now is I'll remove my monitors, take the ultra wide off, which these are going to go back onto, give it a clean, and then I'll get these installed and I'll show you how they're all hooked up. Bear with me. So that's me now, got all the lights installed. First thing I started off with was placing the external light controller switch. They've got one of the little extension cables hooking up to the very first 250 long strip. You always start off in the bottom right hand corner for the first light that hooks into the controller. So it's 250, and then on a normal monitor you would have one 450 and then another 250, but in this I've got two 450s to make up the length of the top of the monitor. You can see there's a bit of an overlap here, but in the software you can actually turn the lights off from here to here, and then for this section to this section as well. And yeah, so it just continues on, loops round, and this is the last strip. Goes round here, onto the last strip, and you can see the end. One thing I did have to do, because of the curvature of the monitor, there's a slight curve, it tends to want to flick up at the edge, so I've used a couple of wee bits of Gorilla Tape to hold it down. And then there's other various little cable clips dotted about as well, just to stop the cables from popping about. We've got little cable clips. That's basically it. I'll get this back onto the monitor stand. This end hook into the PC, and then we'll have the power plug that goes into that end, and that's it. After that, we'll just give you a little demo how it all works. So that's it, guys. That was the Corsair LS100 lighting kit. What do you think about it? I think it's a great little bit of kit. I mean, I've got Govee Ambilight down on my TV in the living room downstairs, and I love the effect in that when you're sitting watching action movies or whatever, sci-fi movies and stuff like that. And I think this works just as well, if not better, actually, than the Govee kit. Govee kit can sometimes be a wee bit slow to react because the camera's obviously looking at what's on the screen, whereas this thing's hooked straight up to your computer, so I suppose you would naturally expect it to be a bit quicker, but it really is a fantastic little bit of kit. Previous setup was actually better because my monitors were wall mounted, so I didn't have any, like the way my monitors are mounted at the moment, there's this big monitor stand hooked onto the top of my table, and it casts a shadow and stuff, whereas before there was nothing around my monitors and the lights just had loads and loads of kind of blank wall behind it, and it looked brilliant, but it still looks brilliant. I still love the effect of it and playing games with it and so on. So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed that. I'll leave links down below of where you can get these, like on Amazon and stuff like that, and expansion kits and everything as well. I'll leave all that in below, and hopefully you enjoyed it, guys. And as always, I appreciate if you could leave a like and subscribe, and hopefully I will see you guys soon. See you later.